Welcome back into the film room. I'm your host, Eric Turner. And in today's Cover 1 Film Room feature, we're going to take a look at James Cook, the star from the Bills' 31-10 win against the Cowboys. So let's take a look at some of the stats that have come out since Cook had his record-setting day against the Dallas Cowboys defense. Overall, the Bills finished with 266 yards rushing on 43 designed attempts, 3 touchdowns. 20 out of 28 of their first downs came via the run game. Cook specifically finished with 25 attempts for 179 yards and 1 rushing touchdown, putting up 7.2 yards per attempt on the ground. In the passing game, he had 2 receptions for 42 yards and 1 touchdown. He is currently sitting second in rushing behind Christian McCaffrey with 968 yards. He has 48 first down rushes, which is 5th overall. 40.4% of his runs go for first downs. And he's registered 11.2 explosive run rate, which was 6th overall. Now let's look at his yards from scrimmage. Currently, he is second behind Christian McCaffrey with 1,401 yards. He's 4th in percentage of plays that ended in a first down or touchdown per touch at 27.2%. So that's saying that every time he touches the ball, 27.2% of those plays end in either a first down or a touchdown. In this game specifically, in order to get Cook going, the Bills use an array of personnel groupings and run concepts. Listen to some of these personnel groupings they use. They use 12 personnel, 32.3% of the game, 21 personnel, sometimes with Gilliam as the fullback, sometimes Ty Johnson as a second running back. They ran that personnel grouping 16.9% of the plays in this game. And then 22 personnel, sometimes with 2 running backs, 2 tight ends, sometimes with 2 running backs, a tight end, and an extra offensive lineman. They ran that 4.6% of the time. And when we're talking the run game, James Cook and the Bills offense had success from all of these groupings against the Cowboys defense. And that's because the Cowboys defense likes to play a lot of light boxes and, more importantly, dime defenses, where instead of having a second linebacker on the field, they bring up a safety or defensive back to play in the box, which invites the run for opposing offenses. And the Bills were not shy about doing that. And the Bills spammed a bunch of the same concepts from different personnel groupings to get vertical displacement, to get the defense rolling backwards on their heels, and they were unable to stop the Bills' run game. So without further ado, let's jump into the film of James Cook's big day against the Cowboys. So on the 4th play of the game, the Bills send out 12 personnel, 1 running back, 2 tight ends, shift James Cook and run their weak side fold block with Mitch Morse. But I like the little combination they have here. So of course, they have this run right here with Morse folding inside and picking up the inside backer. But I like what they're doing on the pass portion of this. So it's a screen out here to Kincaid like we've seen over the last few weeks. And that's awesome versus this type of defense because it pulls a guy out of the box. So essentially the Bills have a 5-man box because of what they're doing with the screen portion of this. So that gives the Bills and James Cook a good lane up the middle. This is a numbers advantage. This is Joe Brady taking advantage of the Cowboys' defensive structure. Pin or down block by McGovern on the front side just takes him to the turf. And you can see Morse pull, get a piece of 14, who is an undersized dime backer for the Cowboys. And Cook gets up inside, and he's not touched until he gets to that 3rd level by Donovan Wilson. Again, a numbers advantage, using the light box and maximizing runs against the Cowboys was the theme on Sunday afternoon. Joe Brady and the Bills offensive staff threw an array of personnel groupings and run concepts at the Cowboys, and there were times you could tell the Cowboys weren't quite prepared. They were running guys on late, they were lining up late, and on this play, the Bills are in 22 personnel. So 2 tight ends, 2 running backs. They had 3 design runs from this personnel grouping for 20 yards. They ran this about 4.6% when you're talking the run game. And you can see that the Cowboys struggle to line up against this. And the Bills just wanted to come downhill like they do on this play on an ISO run. This was a 12-yard gain. Cook got a little help from his friends on this play. But this was one of the themes for the night. The Bills were saying, you know what? We're going to go heavy now. We have that ability, and we're just going to come downhill and come right at you and spam the same plays a bunch. So on this play, again, the Bills are in 22 personnel. And how did the Cowboys match? They have a safety and Curse down in the box. Donovan Wilson's in the box. Bell is in the box. Again, that undersized dime backer. And the Bills are in a heavy personnel grouping. And guess what they're doing? They're running I formation, ISO play, lead play, right on that undersized linebacker. They come downhill. Gilliam gets a hat on a hat. And you'll see Cook cut it back up inside right here. Again, right into the thick of the defense. Then look at Torrance grab Cook. And they move the pile for a 12-yard gain. 2 plays later, the Bills get 7 yards from Cook on this inside zone run from a new wrinkle since Brady has taken over. So the Bills are in 21 personnel. So 2 running backs and 1 tight end on this play. The Bills ran 21 personnel, 16.9% in this game. They had 8 design rushes for 57 yards, including 1 explosive rush. On this play, the Bills have 2 running backs, but it's not a fullback. It's Ty Johnson, the backup halfback, and he's off the line of scrimmage in the wing off of Knox. On this play, watch those 2 players. Watch Knox wash Williams down. The Bills are happy to have Knox back, especially when you're talking blocking in the run or pass game for that matter. He washes Williams down. Johnson gets positional leverage on Wilson, and that allows Cook to cut up inside for that 7-yard gain. But once again, the Cowboys, with this personnel grouping, still have their dime backer on the field. They bring the safety down. So once again, it's more of a heavier personnel grouping, more of a run look. And the Cowboys are still staying light, and the Bills take advantage. Latavius Murray finishes that drive in the end zone. The Bills are now up 7-0. And after a 3 and out, the Bills go back to Cook on the 3rd drive of the game. And I just love this strategy and game plan. So the Bills are in 12 personnel, 1 running back, 2 tight ends. But look at where the tight ends are aligned. They're on the outside. And because the Cowboys are in man coverage, that pulls a linebacker out of the box. And you can see a DB is now out wide with Dawson Knox. Wide receivers are in the slots. And the Bills have a 6-man box, 5 across the defensive line and a linebacker at the second level. But because of that motion and shift by Cook, that moves Evans to his left, and that allows the Bills to run their zone run and zone blocking to the left side and get the angle on Evans right there. Just great work and strategy by the staff and Cromer to get Cook into the 2nd and 3rd level on this mid-zone run. What's even great about this play is how the Bills, yes, have a 6-man box, but because of the threat of Josh Allen coming out the back door here, Parsons is unblocked. They don't even have to block the best player on the Cowboys defense. He has to hold with Josh, and Josh sells it, and that holds Parsons. But more importantly, look at the vision of Cook. 97 shoots a back door on McGovern and has Cook dead to rights. But watch Cook make that guy miss and then get back on track. Gets back on track, gets up into the rushing lane, and the Bills are able to spring Cook for an 8-yard gain on 1st down. So you can see everyone doing their 111 and how they are executing what Joe Brady and Aaron Cromer drew up in the game plan. Unfortunately for the Bills, they have to punt on that drive after a couple drops from Kincaid, but now they're facing a 2nd and 10 situation with 11 seconds left in the 1st quarter, and they find Cook for a 24-yard gain, and the progressions by Josh on this play were just phenomenal. And it's a simple spacing concept, a play design that is very good usually against single high coverages like cover 3, but the Cowboys drop out into a Tampa 2 coverage. But I love this design from the perspective of Cook becoming the horizontal stretch here out into the boundary. Usually on this play, you're having the running back aligned to the right side of the quarterback here, or even a tight end as the number 3, kind of becoming that horizontal stretch. As those curls work over the middle and space the defense, you're getting the horizontal stretch from the number 3 right here. But Cook is a number 3 on this play, and Josh is initially looking to Davis to the top of the screen. Well, he's taken away, and so then he looks to Shakir. He's taken away, and then here comes that horizontal stretch by Cook, and Josh gets to him quickly in his progressions, and that allows Cook to get yards after the catch. Watch it from the end zone angle. Play fake, Josh looking to his left, Davis taken away. Now Shakir. Here comes Shakir, barely out of his break. He sees Bell sitting right there in that hook to curl area. There's your horizontal stretch. And Cook, he gets there, puts it on his hands. And then Cook uses that burst and explosiveness to screw up the angle of the defender. He makes him miss and gets 24 yards on the play. Great work by the Bills offense. Nice design. Josh gets through his progression so quickly. 1, 2, 3. Into the hands of your playmaker. So on the very next play, top of the second quarter, the Bills get 8 yards on this duo run. They have 12 personnel in, but instead of 2 tight ends, they bring in the extra offensive lineman, David Edwards. They run duo. So what the offense is trying to do is essentially wash all of their blocks down so that Cook can press the line of scrimmage and usually bounce outside to be one-on-one with a corner or a safety. And the Cowboys know that's coming, so they have a very good play call dialed up on this play. They have those 3 front side defenders shoot their outside gaps, their gaps to their right. And that puts several guys right in Cook's face as he gets the ball. But this is where you see the vision, the burst, the reactive athleticism overall from Cook flash. And he's able to bounce outside to break contain for an 8-yard gain. Awesome work by Cook on this play. Playing above the scheme. I'm sure he was graded very well when the staff looks back at this film, making several defenders miss at the line of scrimmage, and his ability to get outside the tackle box to beat all these defenders inside, but also along the edge to get upfield for a positive gain was just great work. 3 plays later, the Bills hit pay dirt on this 18-yard receiving touchdown to James Cook. Cook's receiver-like hands really flash on this play, but I love the route by him on this vertical stretch versus the linebacker. We've seen the Bills use vertical routes for Cook over the last few weeks since Brady has taken over. And his improvement at avoiding the disruption by the linebacker here is noteworthy, because I flash back to a game against the Titans early last year where the Bills tried using this same type of concept versus the Titans, and he allowed the linebacker to get his hands on him and disrupt him and knock him to the ground. The Bills also attempted this type of route against the Jets this year, and Josh underthrew him when he had to step vertically down the field. But Cook's ability on this play to avoid that disruption was huge. So let's break this play down from the top. 2-by-2 set on 1st and 10 here. The Cowboys, once again, showing a single high safety look, man coverage across the board. And that's why the shift by Cook is so important. Because to start the play, he initially has that dime backer on him. But because of that shift, that put Damone Clark, the linebacker, on Cook. Ball's on the left hash. That's the other noteworthy portion of this play. In the Titans game, when Dorsey called the play, the ball was on the right hash. So Cook didn't have as much room to work with to avoid that defender. Bills have a scissors call with Cook and Gabe Davis on this play. Top of the screen, you see Davis running the post. You see Cook running the corner to the wide side of the field. Josh avoids Parsons, breaks contain, and lofts it down the field for the touchdown. Parsons takes an inside move against Brown, and that allows Josh to simply get outside the pocket. He knows he has the matchup with Cook on the linebacker. And so this is just a gimme for Josh, especially when you're playing man coverage. He doesn't have to read anything. Find the best matchup, get outside the pocket, extend that play, and Cook does the rest by separating. And then look at those hands. Nice catchable ball. A little low, but Cook easily adjusts to that. That is why Brandon Beane drafted this running back. These are the type of things that the Bills haven't really maximized with him as a running back when we're talking the pass game. The Bills get 12 yards on this tackle wrap call on 1st and 10 on the very next drive. And the Bills didn't hide their intentions. The Bills got 168 of their 266 rushing yards on 1st down. They ran 27 times on 1st down out of 49 rushing attempts. And this play was their bread and butter for this game, the tackle pull call, the dart call. And the Cowboys have a good call on this play. Their interior defenders are slanting backside and getting vertical, trying to blow up the blocking scheme of the Bills. The Bills are once again leaving the backside edge unblocked, So once again, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defenders pretty much in the run fit here. And they're leaving one guy unblocked. So they have a hat on a hat. But watch Deion Dawkins as he pulls down the line of scrimmage, and he is responsible for the dime backer here. But watch him slow play it down the line of scrimmage, and he grazes this defensive tackle just enough so that Torrance can wall him off and Cook can get up inside as Dawkins pulls to the front side of this play. And that patience and vision by Cook were phenomenal. Look at him slow play it, wait for Dawkins to pick up his block, and he sees it. He sees that lane developing. He hits it, and then he runs away from the backside unblocked defender, just pulls away from him for the 12-yard gain. So much good stuff going on this play. Very good play call and execution by the Bills. That little shift at the beginning of the snap moves that linebacker just a little bit so that Morse can get to the next level and pick him up, and then Cook can get up inside that crease and run away from defenders to get into the secondary. Awesome execution by the Bills offensive line and running back. 6 plays later, the Bills come back to tackle Rap, but they're running it from under center from that 21 personnel grouping I talked about earlier, with Ty Johnson as the second running back, Gilliam not in the play. But I love this. I love how they're running the same concept, but this time under center, and how they show the ball right here off the snap. You see Allen show the ball, and that times up perfectly with Brown on the long pull. He's got to come a long way to pull and wrap around on this play. I love the insert by Johnson right here. The timing and patience, though, by Cook on this play really made the blocks for the offensive line. It gave them time to create that displacement. And look at the technique. Let's look on the backside. Dawson Knox chop down Lawrence's arms. That's the Cromer technique. Hands, hands, hands. Seals off the backside so there's no pursuit down the line of scrimmage. But also, watch Dawkins do it to Parsons on the front side. Flash that hand, and then boom, right there. Throws him off balance. Doesn't allow him to set the edge, disengage, or make the tackle. And the timing, the patience by Cook, pressing right there at the line of scrimmage. Look at him. Just choppy steps, pushing, pressing the line of scrimmage. Allows Brown to get a piece of that defender. But more importantly, allows Cook to break, contain, get outside to get the 9-yard gain. 2 plays later, the Bills get 20 yards from James Cook on what appears to be a duo run concept. Cook once again flashing the fantastic footwork, vision, patience, and making guys miss. But look at the Cowboys defense. The Bills are in 21 personnel, so 2 running backs, kind of that pony look with Johnson as the second running back, and then Knox in line as a tight end, and he does a great job at the point of attack on this play. But look at how the defensive structure of the Cowboys is set up. Their only linebacker in this play is to the left side of the field. That means the dime backer is stacked in the A-gap. They have a safety down in Curse on Johnson. Once again, with this personnel grouping, is a win for the Bills, and that's why they run it on this play. So let's look at the front side of this play. Look at the block by Knox on Parsons. Look how quick off the snap he is, and how he just washes him down. Just washes him down the line of scrimmage and makes him not even a factor on this play. Now let's look at the combination block at the point of attack right here. Brown, Torrance to the dime backer. Look at them move at the first level, and then Brown gets to the second level, gets a piece of that guy, latches on, and that allows Cook to cut up inside of that block. So great work on the front side of this play. Johnson as well gets a piece of the Curse, positional leverage. Now you have Cook inside, one-on-one with the defender coming from depth. But on this play, we need to focus on the finish by Deion Dawkins on that linebacker, Damone Clark. Latches on and then takes him for a ride. 15, 20 yards down the field. Doesn't let go. Buries him into the turf on this play. That is the type of attitude that the Bills' offensive line and offense overall played with in this game. They finished every play. They were picking off defenders on every single run play. I mean, even look at Brown again on the front side and how he uses his length to throw that undersized defender out of the play and out of the club. This was just a mentality that the Bills' offensive line played with in this game, and Cook reaped the benefits. You saw him slash in and out of traffic, make guys miss in phone booths. He was fantastic on this play. The entire offensive line should get credit and kudos in this game. They manhandled the Cowboys' lighter defensive line and linebacker level defenders, and Cook maximized those runs and those blocks. Allen capitalizes on that drive to put the Bills up 21-3. So now we're going to fast forward to the second half. This is the first play out of halftime, and you get to see some slight adjustments by the Cowboys. So when the Bills motion Cook, here you see the linebackers change their alignment. They want the linebacker at the point of attack to the front side of this play. The Bills are running what looks like kind of like a pin and pull with Morse and Brown pulling. But look what the Bills do with this RPO screen type look out here with Kincaid, and how that pulls Parsons out that way, but also the safety Donovan Wilson. And that's great because now at the point of attack, the Bills have an advantage. There's only 5 defenders in the box. That's winning the numbers count in the box. And as Cook presses out wide, you see the Cowboys muddy things up here at the point of attack. And so Cook has nowhere to go out wide here on the perimeter. So he cuts it back. Great vision. Cuts it back. You see Torrance get a 2-for-1 on the defensive lineman and the dime backer. And Cook cuts it back across the field for 7 yards. Within the same drive, you see the Bills offensive line and Spencer Brown tweak their philosophy. So there's the shift. You see the Cowboys change their linebacker alignments. But instead of Brown just going down the line of scrimmage to try to bust this play out wide, he inserts on the dime backer. And then Cook is able to get north and south for 5 yards. So this is a nice little wrinkle or adjustment within the same drive. Instead of just pushing out wide on the tackle wrap, the Bills said, you know what? If you're trying to keep your dime backer on the backside of this play, we're just going to insert the tackle and get north and south and get 5 yards on that play. That's a good adjustment within the same drive. 2 plays later on 1st and 10, they run tackle wrap again with Brown pulling. Show the RPO screen out here. Unblocked defender number 56. Here comes the pull from Brown. And the edge defender for the Cowboys does a good job of trying to box this play in. Helmet by Brown is on the inside, so normally that tells a running back to cut it up in here. But Kearse did a great job coming down and filling that gap. So Cook was decisive, and he was able to bounce it outside for a 10-yard gain. Look at it from the end zone angle. Splits the defense in half. Again, holding these guys on the backside with the screen, but also with Josh. And the blocking on the front side was just great. And good vision and burst from Cook. Again, you're not going to get up inside here because Kearse is just waiting on you. But he's so close to the line of scrimmage that Cook is able to out-leverage him with his speed and burst to the outside. On the very next play, the Bills put Josh Allen under center, run mid-zone run out of 22 personnel. But instead of having a second tight end, the Bills have Edwards as the extra offensive lineman. So 2 running backs, Gilliam, Cook. Tight end is Quentin Morris, and then the extra offensive lineman is David Edwards. They run mid-zone weak to the right side of the Cowboys defense, and Cook slashes, gets north and south for 4 yards. But look at the mentality. So front side, this is all taken away and forces the cutback. So Cook feels it beautifully and cuts it back. Exactly how you want your running back to do. But look on the backside. Look at this displacement right here between Brown and Torrance. Look at how they throw that defensive lineman out the club. And as he does that, you see Brown climb and seal off the linebacker as well. But also, look at the backside cutoff by Edwards on the snap. Look at how he has to work to the front side here using his quickness. And as that defender goes to engage him, he uses the Cromer technique, chops that arm down, puts that guy's body right into him, allowing Cook to cut it back where Wilson is able to tackle him after the 4-yard gain. But this is the mentality the Bills played with. Created that displacement, that bully ball. This is the type of scheme and strategy and style that we haven't really seen with Josh Allen at quarterback. 6 plays later on 3rd and 5, Joe Brady adds a few different layers to a play that James Cook has scored on this man coverage beater. Really nice eye candy with the Diggs motion, the fake orbit reverse versus this man coverage look. See Josh Allen pump it out here, and it does get the attention of a couple defenders, but what the Bills are trying to do is leak out Cook here on this. You have several crossing routes here, and you're trying to get a pick on the guy that is covering Cook, but that defender does a good job of working through it. But either way, Cook probably scores on this play if he catches this, because he's got leverage on that defender, and if he catches it, I think he still can hit the front of this pylon for a touchdown, and this play would have really padded his stats. But kudos to Joe Brady, adding that layer of Diggs and the pump fake, but throwing it back across the field. This is the type of stuff that we wanted to see from Dorsey for so long. Run the same plays, but scheme them up a little better. Add some layers, add some eye candy. Get the defense looking in one direction and throw it to another. But more importantly, get it to your playmaking running back in James Cook, like Brady has done since taking over. So the Bills settle for a field goal on that drive, and on the second play of the next drive, they're faced with a 2nd and 8 situation. They signed out 11 personnel on this play, so not a heavy look, but once again, go back to tackle, pull, a dart run. What the Cowboys did against this formation is put a 5-man surface up front to help defend the run. Parsons is on the left side of the screen. You're going to see Brown pull, and Parsons doesn't know what to do. You see Cook take the inside step and then back out wide. It's a slow developing play, but watch how Parsons is playing slow. He's trying to read this play. He doesn't exactly know what's coming, and he squeezes inside, and that gives Brown just enough an angle to punch him inside and for Cook to once again burst out wide. Tremendous patience on this play from Cook. I mean, the type of patience needed on this play with a guy like Parsons just sitting there unblocked, and you're waiting as a running back for your backside tackle to pull, that takes tremendous patience. He pushes the line of scrimmage, and then when he sees his opportunity, he times it perfectly, and boom, he's outside for a 17-yard gain. After a great one-handed catch by Stefon Diggs on 3rd and 8 for 17 yards, the Bills come back to a tackle pull play out of 11 personnel. James Cook gets into the alley and hits pay dirt once again to put the Bills up 31-3. The Cowboys once again show that 5-man surface, so 5 across the defensive line. And while they think that's a good idea, if the offensive line gets the proper calls for who to block prior to the snap, that's going to put the running back into the 2nd and 3rd levels quite easily. And that's what happens on this play. The Bills do a great job of picking up the defenders at the point of attack. So you get a combination block here between Torrance and Brown, and they're just waiting for that dime backer to scrape over the top to pick him off. Knox does a good job of climbing to that next level, getting positional leverage on Curse, and then the pull from Dawkins. He's the kick out, and it's an easy lane for Cook. It's just so easy. The nose tackle doesn't have the athleticism to disengage and make the tackle on Cook in the hole, and he's really the only one that has a shot on Cook, with Cook hitting full speed, making that defender miss coming from depth. Just great work by the Bills offensive line at adjusting their line calls prior to the snap, making sure everyone gets blocked up on this 5-man surface, climbing to the next level, picking up those defenders so that Cook can get into the 3rd level and into the end zone on this 24-yard run on a dart or tackle pull play by Dawkins. I hope you guys enjoyed that breakdown of James Cook against the Cowboys. It was bully ball. It was a different style of offense that we've seen from the Bills over the last few years since acquiring Josh Allen. And it's something that they're going to need this time of the year if they are going to make a run in the playoffs. If you like that breakdown, please smash that like button, leave me a comment, and at the very least, subscribe to the Cover One YouTube channel. I'm Eric Turner, host of the Film Room, owner of Cover One. Until our next breakdown, go Bills.